Hello everyone, welcome to my virtual session. My name is Pramod Rana and today I'm going to present you V Prioritizer, which is a risk prioritization framework in current area. So a bit about myself, I'm working as a senior security engineer with Coupa Software, where I'm responsible for security functions like penetration testing, threat modeling, and cloud security assessment. I love to understand new security trends and how we can practically implement them as a security industry itself. I am a security engineer by profession, a coder by hobby, and a runner by passion. In past, I have presented two of my tools in Black Hat, DEF CON, Nalcon Goa. I'm one of the OS Pune chapter leader, and I'm a proud OSCP as well. So let's get started. So to give you the context, why we need a framework like vPrioritizer in current times. So as I have reflected in the diagrams that on a daily basis, approximately 50 new vulnerabilities are becoming known to the industry. And these are only the known vulnerabilities. And it's fair to assume that this count is going to increase in the future. So even if an organization is considering a small percentage of vulnerabilities of newly released vulnerabilities will be impacting an organization, it's still a huge number to assess and remediate on an organization level. With this amount of vulnerabilities, organization is focusing, or rather I'll say should focus on reducing the risk rather than completely eliminating. So in today's time, we are moving towards an area where our job as a security professional is come to the reducing the risk as best as we can. Because uh, if if we consider the today's phenomenal rate of vulnerabilities coming and demand for the business in terms of developing software, it is increasing on a very aggressive rate. So it makes, in my opinion, it makes more sense to focus if we, it makes more sense if we focus on eliminating the risk. So like I said on the context slide, why we need a framework like a prioritization. In current time, vulnerability management is almost equal to risk prioritization because resources, when it comes to the resources on organization level, whether it is skill set or the time is limited. On industry level, environment is changing too fast and too frequently. For example, in today's time, no organization is following a cycle of yearly release or something. It's reducing on a significant rate on a day-to-day basis. So as of today, organization demands developers or the operations guys to continuously integrate and continuously deploy the product. So in this case, if the affected server is not going to be up and running for a long time, then there's no value to assess and remediate the finding on that particular asset. Attack surface is increasing exponentially, like I said, in terms of diversity and technology, which again comes down to prioritization. I would like to point out the 80-20 rule here, which in my opinion, 20% of the vulnerabilities brings 80% of the risk. So if by using a systematic method, we can identify those 20% of the vulnerabilities, then with a well-informed decision, we can come to a conclusion, we can come to a decision that which vulnerabilities we need to fix at which asset and most importantly, at what time. So this was a definition or context for the risk. So what is a risk and how we can calculate it on a consistent level? What are the factors which contributes to the risk? So historically, we have used, or industry have used, CVSS as a risk prioritization framework. Along with that, I have jotted down number of factors which we can consider on individual levels, which is like asset criticality, asset accessibility, what is the exploit availability, what is the ease of exploitation. So in my opinion, if we consider all of the above factors while prioritizing a particular vulnerability in terms of risk, that will make a more a better decision on fixing the vulnerabilities on multiple assets across the organization. So how do we do it? To overcome the mentioned challenges, I have developed an open source framework. I call it vPrioritizer, which gives us ability to assess the risk on different layers, such as we can assign the significance on per asset basis, we can assess severity on per vulnerability basis. At the same time, we can adjust the risk relationship on the relationship level of asset and vulnerability. So one vulnerability will have different significance for different assets pertaining to different organizations. So one vulnerability will not have same risk across all the assets and especially across all the organization. So if we have that level of granularity in our risk prioritization framework, it helps us to make a contextualized risk, which I call it a VP risk. And most importantly, if security professional or security experts keep analyzing vulnerabilities depending on their understanding, then we have a community intelligence which can provide us a suggested risk that though CVSS says that this vulnerability will, for example, have a CVSS score of 10, but if we are combining all the analysis of different security professional, it is coming to the 7. So in that way, it helps us to build a database across the community on a consistent level. How it works is, broadly speaking, it have two components. One, I call it vPrioritizer engine. Second is the web UI component. And obviously it have database and other integrated components as well. So vPrioritizer at this point of time can accept the CSV scan files of Nessus, Nexpose, and Qualys Guard scan engines, which arguably are the most three used network vulnerability scanner across the industry. So you can upload as many as files you want within a single project. You will have a better understanding of a project and how it is getting uploaded once we will get into the demo part. So on a broadly terms, it integrates with multiple vulnerability scanners. And then we have within the vPrioritizer engine, we have two components. The one is parser, the other is the analyzer. So parser, as the name depicts, it parses the scan output to make it consistent across the framework, because every vulnerability scanner have a slight variation of reporting things. So in the parser, the tool normalizes the data and assigns certain metadata to make analytics out of it. In the second part, the vulnerability analyzer, it considers the CVSS from the scan output. At the same time, the user have option to specify the asset criticality and asset accessibility. So while doing the analysis, it considers all of these factors, the CVSS, criticality, accessibility, exploit available, and community analytics to generate the VP risk for each asset and vulnerability relationship. To have the administration and the all the from the UI perspective, it have a web UI for a user to upload the files, to perform the administration like creating the projects, uploading the file, assigning the metadata as per their organization need. All the information are stored in a central database, which is integrated with engine and the web UI. A user can see all the data from the web UI. So what are the key features at this point of time? Version 1.0 supports, like I said, upload of CSV scan files from Nexpose, Nessus, and Qualys Guard. I have a list of scanner output which I'm planning to parse data accordingly. So in a long run, I am planning to support virtually all vulnerability scanners, which includes some cloud native scanners as well, but that is work in progress. One important point here is that even if as a programmer, I write parsing methodology or parsing algorithm for the scanner, some edge cases will be there. To support those edge cases, I have allowed the custom mapping at the runtime. So if as a user, as an administrator, uh, you're not convinced about the mapping between the view prioritizer field and the file field, then you can change it at the runtime. It will be, I'll demonstrate it in a demo part. User can assess the risk on different layer. Like I said, you can assign significance on asset layer, you can assign severity on vulnerability layer, and then you can adjust both factors at asset vulnerability relationship layer. It have a dashboard, a comprehensive dashboard, which depicts the inherited and projected risk, top 5 vulnerabilities, top 5 assets, overall program on a timeline basis, so on and so forth. It supports project management feature, which allows you to tweak the file uploading depending on your need. You may want one project for the test environment and another project for the production environment, or let's say one project for a certain product and other project for different product, so on and so forth. Docker is supported for Linux at this point of time. I'm working on the Docker support for all of the operating systems, major operating systems. Though the installation is pretty straightforward. Even if you want to install it in your system locally, it should not take more than 1 hour to do entire setup. So while concluding the entire activity, I would like to point out two sections here. The first is what it allows a user to do, how it helps an organization to make a decision about what vulnerability they should fix first. So it gives us a contextualized risk, which I call it VP risk, pertaining to each asset and by each vulnerability across the organization. That's the most important part. Second part is that because it allows a security professional to assess the vulnerability severity. Hence, by collection of the analytics of different security professional, we can provide a suggested risk for each vulnerability, so that we are aware that at what point of time what vulnerability is getting more rating or more weightage from the security professional across the organization, because we can rely on automated solution as much as we should, but at one point of time manual analysis is what provides a real differentiator. So if we have multiple manual analysis on a different community level, then it gives us a more effective um, risk suggestion across the organization or across the vulnerability. So at any point of time, teams can make an effective and more informed decision about what vulnerabilities they should remediate, and most important, they can afford not to remediate, because most of the time we have to choose which vulnerabilities we want to fix. So again, if we have if an organization is falling, let's say we will be picking top 10 vulnerabilities in every quarter, then that's where it helps to make a decision that which are the top 10 vulnerabilities for the organization. So I would like users to take away from this presentation is that risk is a variable function of multiple parameters. It's a very, very subjective art to make it effective and efficient on a broader level consistently. Prioritize correctly, fix worst, what matters most, because let's accept we can't fix literally everything what vulnerability scanners are reporting to us. We have to come to a point that yes, these are the 5 vulnerabilities we are fixing, or these are the vulnerabilities, we are accepting the risk. Share with the community whatever the conclusion, whatever the analytics we are having in our organization. That's the only way to scale. And fix fast, test fast, fail fast, adjust fast, because that's a typical agile development where every organization is moving towards or has already moved. Now we come to the demo part. Before going to the demo, this is the GitHub link available for the Viri Prioritizer. It's an open source product available on GitHub. Version 1.0 is already released. This is my Twitter handle. These are two my email addresses. If you have any queries, suggestion, feedback, comment, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to respond as quickly as possible and work on the issues which you have suggested. Thank you so much. Let's get to the demo. So in the demo part, this is how a typical dashboard of the vPrioritizer looks. I'll get back to the dashboard first later. Let's create the project. Somehow it is starting. Okay. So you have an option to create a project. I'll create a project secarmy_demo. This is where I'm presenting it right now. So first time it will be a blank dashboard because you have not uploaded anything yet. So from the upload option, you can browse to the file. It supports Nessus Qualys Export. For the demo perspective, I will be uploading only one of the file. So let's say we go to the Nessus, we can select any of the file. It supports CSV files. We'll click on upload. This is what one of the most important part of the tool is. So like I said, from my algorithm, I was able to map it to this. This is the first section is the vPrioritizer field. The second section is file field. Next two sections are row 1 and row 2 of data. So let's say from your uploaded file, you are not convinced about the mapping. Then at the runtime, you can change the mapping. I'll show you how you see it, because host name, it was not able to find it. So you can select the host field, it will change automatically, and then you can click on complete. Here, I have suggested to provide you the header so that I can support the mapping in the algorithm itself. But if you want to change it at runtime, feel free to do so. Once you have uploaded the data, you will have some data in the dashboard. I'll come to it later. Let's go to the asset triage first. So this is where every detail of the assets will be there. Now let's assume that you decided that a range of IP addresses belong to a test environment. Let's say IP 10.86. Then you can select all the assets for that range. You can triage it, and then you will say it's a trivial asset for me, and then you can put the result for that decision. You will say it's a test environment. As you can see, the criticality of the assets have changed. It is now trivial. By default, the value moderate is assigned, and then let's say you decide that 10.11 asset is a critical asset for me, that you can do that way also. So in first we downgrade the criticality. In this triage, we are increasing it. As you can see, that particular asset has been changed to critical. Now let's go to the vulnerability criticality. Like I said, you have option to asset triage, you have option to vulnerability triage, and then you have option to triage on vulnerability asset level. We are on next phase. Let's say you decide for your organization that all SSL vulnerabilities are known issue to us. Hence, we will put it as a informational. So you will select it as a informational. You will say it's a known issue. You can put the reason accordingly. I'm just giving you an example. The possibilities are limitless. You can assign it on any level. As you can see, the projected severity for the SSL vulnerabilities have changed. Here we have two different kind of severity, like I said in the presentation as well. The first one is the inherited, the other one is the projected. Inherited severity is what scanner has provided to us on the basis of CVSS score purely. The other severity is projected, which is the VP risk, which is by the analysis engine of the view prioritizer. So it will change accordingly. As you can see, it has been changed from low to informational, and the VP risk has been changed to 0. Now, if we go to triage on asset and vulnerability level, then you may decide that one vulnerability for one particular asset have a different significance than the others. So as you can see here, we have the criticality and the accessibility part and the CVSs for that vulnerability. So in this case, I have decided that this asset and this vulnerability have less severity to me than it has been reported by the scanner engine. I'll say it has been changed to medium. The asset criticality is moderate, which is a default value. And then I'll say it's a user desktop. It's not a server. Hence, the SNMP agent that particular vulnerability has been changed to medium. As you can see, the relationship, it will change only on the relationship level, not on the entirely, all the vulnerabilities will not be changed because of that. You have some basic filtering option available here. You can select by the criticality of the asset. You can select by the accessibility. You can make a filter on a CVSS. You can make a filter on the VP risk level, so on and so forth, which helps us to make a better UI, to make a more intuitive UI on this level. Because of these configuration you did on this upload feature. Now, please note that you don't have to do this change each and every time. Next time you will be uploading a file, it will pick the changes from the database automatically. So you have to do these things only once. Because of these changes, your inherited and projected risk have changed because you have reduced the risk of certain vulnerabilities and you have reduced the criticality of certain assets. Here we have 5 assets. You can click on any asset and you can see which vulnerabilities are reporting, which vulnerabilities are impacting that particular asset. Same concept you can do with the vulnerabilities. It has the details around it. You have the proof of concept. Now, this timeline will change as you will keep uploading the files. So next time you upload, it will have, let's say 10, 11, 20, 20, 10, 12, 20, 11. It will change on a timeline basis. So that's one more thing. You have a project selection option. Like I said, I can select the SIGDEM Army demo. So this was all from my side regarding the view prioritizer. It's a risk prioritization framework. I'd like to point out it's not a scan engine because I believe there are already very good scan engines available in markets. It collects data about the assets and vulnerabilities, and it helps organization to make a more informed decision about the risk prioritization. If you have any questions, these are my coordinates. You are more than welcome to reach out to me. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.